Today I'm at Thames Grove Disc Golf Course, and I'm super excited. There's no snow here, so this is gonna be my first non-snow round since I think I had, like, beginning of January. Our first one didn't have much snow on the ground, and otherwise this is my first non-snow round since like November or December. So pretty stoked for that. I'm gonna be trying out the Lobster. So this is a disc I picked up at Myrtle Beach Open. Forgetting the guy's name right now off the top of my head, but he designed the stamp, and I got this disc from him. And I'm hoping, this is supposed to be a pretty understable disc, so I'm hoping this can replace the. So I'm going to be trying it out here. First up, we have hole 1, par 3, 79 meters, 260 feet, and it's behind the tree there, and there's a big headwind, but this should be good for a test. Oh, definitely understable. I released that a little early, but that's not bad. I'm gonna put it up against the M4. I was told this was an understable disc. Again, it wasn't as understable as I was hoping. It's a little bit more understable than straight, but not what I was looking for my bag. And there you can see, yeah, basically just straight that whole way, even with the headwind. Now I threw it a little bit early. There's a little early release, not quite straight into headwind, so the wind could have been keeping it from turning. All right, so the M4 is probably like 55 feet out, way to the left. The Lobster's probably only 10 feet closer, about 45 feet out, but it was straight. It actually turned, even though they kind of released not too different of lines. It's big hyzer out and around, worked well. So Lobster here got some pretty good turn to it. I'm still behind this tree, but I'm gonna just try a little anhyzer out. It's within the circle. It's within the circle. I'm gonna putt with my normal putters. We're clear within the circle. One. I don't think it's fair to try and putt with these mids. All right, hole 1, this thing showed us much more understable than the M4, which is great. I might try the M4 again a couple times. I think I might also throw it up against the Paradox and make sure it's not too understable that it's competing with the Paradox, because I'm looking for something in between the Paradox and straight. Hole 2, par 3, 104 meters, 341 feet. Got a tunnel shot that turns to the right. That stood up and still turned a little bit, not a whole lot. Trying it against the Paradox. That stands up, turns a little bit more, dies down with that headwind. Let's try the M4 again, just doesn't stand up. Not a chance. So I don't dislike the M4. I mean, it does its job. As far as being a straight disc, it feels comfortable. It's a little bit domey, but it's not getting turn. Definitely not what I'm trying to have in my bag. The Paradox is farther back because it dumped out of the air. Oh, see, and it really turns. The Lobster had a lot of turn, but was it too much turn? Just wonder. I released it a little bit later than I wanted to, but it didn't turn out too bad. It flipped up, it turned some like I was planning on, but I also kind of didn't put so much power on that it went past. It kind of just landed at the basket. Paradox ended up turning too much, kind of put itself out of contention. And even with that light little throw, it's standing up still. Lobster definitely gets this hole from the Paradox, but one hole does not say it is, not too understable yet. Hole 3, par 3, 93 meters, 305 feet, straight ahead. This should be, let's see if I can hyzer flip this. Like, it flips up, but not so much that it fought out of it. It's still faded off because I didn't flip it quite enough. Let's see again, comparing it against the Paradox, yeah, that one had, I think, more hyzer out of my hand, and it stood up too flat and went straight for a little bit. Okay, so lobster, you know, definitely understable. Definitely also not as understable as the Paradox, both of which are good things. Oh, that was bad. That was straight at that tree. Also not entirely sure what Mint calls their plastics. I think this is, yeah, this is Nocturnal. But basically this is Eclipse from MVP. And I really like MVP plastic. So here we are, 3 holes in. I'm at +1 because I threw that one bad straight into the tree. But so far, it's doing what I want it to. But now we've made it to hole 4. Par 4, 177 meters, 580 feet. Goes straight back, and then just when it gets past the trees on the left, it turns left a little bit. This one's gonna be a hard one for this. Let's see how well it can take the beans. Oh, put it really high, really nose up, flipped up to straight. That was pitiful and kind of embarrassing. Now, one thing about doing these one disc rounds is, you know, you're not always putting yourself into situations where you would actually pull out this disc. For instance, never would I pull out this disc here. This now becomes, from my standard shot, it goes to be a hyzer flip shot, which is not what I practice and rehearse. But that's at the same time, one thing with these challenges is it's a good way to practice these skills, and, you know, a good way to get to know new discs. Oh, flip more, turn more, turn more. Not that understable. Yeah, okay, let's take out again, just for giggles, the Paradox on the same line. See, I know I can flip that up. It's still gonna turn a little bit. You know, as long as I don't put it super high, that disc is not gonna go left. Now this shot may actually be one where I'd pull out the Paradox, but it's gonna be a difficult one. All right, not bad for just getting out of jail. Not bad for just getting out of jail. Now the disc that this disc replaced, the one thing about it that I really liked and that I'm looking for in this slot is, I knew with that last one, I could put it on an angle and it would hold that angle and just ride it out. So I could put it on just a little bit of hyzer, anhyzer, and it would hold that anhyzer around a corner. Kind of like that. Oh, that was money. That was right under the basket. Hole 5, also par 4, 169 meters this time, 555 feet, so a little bit shorter. This one has a great big dog leg to the right. Now, I'm not gonna make it to the corner with this disc. I usually can make it with something like the Gorgon or the Inertia, sometimes even the Grace. Well, I mean, I should make it with the Grace, but you know, I can make it with those discs. The thing where I can't sometimes make it with the Grace is it might turn too much. But, you know, this is a good hole to try with this. We're just gonna shoot for par. So if I can make it to the corner in 2, around the corner in 1, get a good, decent putt, let's see if we can make that par 4. I'm really making my hyzer worse with this disc, not better. All right, so this spot is a good one for this disc to try. Now it's a bit of a tailwind, so makes it a little bit less understable. I've been going headwind, which makes it more understable, but hopefully I can get a little bit of turn out of this. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, went a little bit straight, but that wasn't bad. Got a little bit of turn. That tailwind really, you can really tell with the wind, the stability of the disc. Okay, not where I wanted to be, but I'm, you know, within shot of the basket. So this is just a basic standard shot. Nice light, doesn't really get turned. Landed about 2 feet deep, and then it kind of bounced and rolled. So not terrible. Gonna have my par. Funny story for this hole, or at least the story I think is funny about this hole was I was playing it one time and threw my disc off. It went off into the long grass off the first shot. Found it, played from it, kept going, and then like this is hole 5. When I was on hole 8, suddenly I realized when I went to use that disc, I was like, oh, wrong disc. I found somebody else's disc who was nearly the same in look. Both were Innova, both were orange. It was just that mine was a Mamba and the one I found was like a Wraith. So completely different disc. But that is a par for the Lobster, which on this hole, I'm pretty happy with the par with this disc. Hole 6, 66 meters, 216 feet, straight across this little creek. You gotta go over it. I'm gonna try and put some anhyzer on it and let it just turn in towards the basket. Let's see how well this holds those angles. Okay, I released that farther right than I meant to, and it held that angle very well. So I'm actually right of the basket. Had I hit the line I intended, that would have been parked, which is on me. And the camera's right in line with the tee pad, so you can see that I really did just miss my line by about 15 feet, missed my release point. And had I released farther left like I intended, I would have been parked. But I'll take a birdie. Hole 7, the last par 4, 166 meters, 545 feet. So it's also the shortest of the par 4s. This is another good one for this disc. Let's see if I can just get just a little bit of turn. Nice flat release, nice level release. Okay, so there's more turn than I was experiencing from the tailwind, makes sense. Less than I was experiencing from headwind, makes sense. But for some reason, coming from the tailwind, I didn't think about no wind. Where is it gonna go? Or crosswind. I don't know if there's wind up there. There's none here. But that did turn some, but not as much as it has been, and not enough to be bad. This Lobster had pretty good push too, which is nice. Went a lot farther forward than I thought it would. Now I'm under this tree in a way I don't love. But that is beautiful. Okay, I'm liking this Lobster a lot. My camera mount just broke, but we'll see how we go. Now the thing is, when I got this Lobster, the guy was like, oh, it's an understable mid-range, and I was, at the time, like, in love with the one disc. And I still was bagging the so I didn't think that this would find a place in my bag. But we now know what happened with that, and so I'm looking for a disc in this slot, and this one is really, I'm loving this disc. It is the perfect replacement. And the thing is, like, I haven't tried it before now, partially because it's glow, and I don't want to throw a glow disc in the snow because I don't like ribbons. But now I finally found a spot where there's no snow, so I can test this out, and it's not disappointing. Too much anhyzer. Sailed way long of the basket. So a lot of glide from this thing, but not bad. Now I'm scared of this hole. I already lost a very special KC rock on this hole because the river, if it goes in there, it's gone. You're not going to find it. It is just mud water. River of stolen discs. Here we are, hole 8, 64 meters, 210 feet. Really not that far. It's just a nice proxy shot, basically. But we're gonna try it with the Lobster. Gonna see what we can do. Didn't lose a disc. Really far right, but I didn't lose a disc. I'm outside the circle, so gotta try and make a putt with this now. Not bad. I got a par on a 210-foot hole, but I didn't lose a disc. Oh, you're not staying. hole 9, 92 meters, 302 feet. It's up straight, a little bit to the left, but let's just see how this flies on one last time, and I'll give my conclusion, my final conclusion. A little bit left. I really wanted some more turn from this, but downwind it does not seem to want to turn. Upwind turns like crazy. So what's my conclusion on the Lobster by Mint? First off, again, MVP plastic is amazing. So super happy with that. It's cool. Like, I really like this stamp, and I love this stamp. Jocelyn picked this disc partially because of this stamp. Now, headwind, tons of turn. Tailwind, almost no turn, which is kind of, you know, a little bit odd. It's got that much difference, that much of a swing. Didn't get a whole bunch of the shots that I, you know, used to use the other disc for, but at the same time, the couple shots that I did that I would be pulling this disc out for, it did a great job. It parked, you know, hole 6. I gave it that little bit of Anheuser, and it just followed that turn the whole way. It was great. On hole 4, when I had that stretch out and did the forehand, and it went up and around, and it just came and just perfectly parked underneath the basket. That's exactly what I'm looking for from this disc. Is the Lobster gonna be a disc I'm gonna pull out of the bag all the time? No, because that's, you know, I didn't do that with the, but I think this disc, you know, this is going to be fitting into that slot pretty nicely. It's not as understable as the Paradox. It's not going to flip quite so much. It's going to be a little bit more usable on some of those shots. It's getting more distance because it's not just burning over, you know, but at the same time, it's got the nice understability. It's got a nice flight, lots of glide. Really happy. So it's definitely going in the bag.